granniopteryx, she knows the truth, she's linking every link.
Hello. It's obviously not escaped your attention that there's been another shooting involving Donald Trump. This time it was at a White House Correspondents Association dinner, which was held in the underground ballroom of the Hilton Hotel, the Washington Hilton Hotel in Connecticut Avenue. All right, so what happened was that a gunman, later identified as Cole Thomas Allen from Torrance, California, so he'd come quite a distance, who was a registered guest at the hotel. This is obviously a serious amount of forward planning, wasn't it? Charged a Secret Service checkpoint in the lobby area outside the ballroom. He was armed with a shotgun, handgun, and multiple knives. Shots were exchanged, gunfire was audible inside the ballroom, and everybody ducked for cover. Now, this chap here, Cole Thomas Allen, is this fellow here. He had been nominated as Teacher of the Month at one point, and is a video game developer. It said he donated to Kamala Harris's campaign. He donated $25. I mean, really, $25? That's nothing. The price of a beer in some places in California, isn't it? So you wouldn't call him a really committed Democrat, would you? And on the other hand, he has been described as being quiet, studious, and very intelligent. So, he's not... very intelligent people can be Mad Hatters as well, I know that. But he appears to be a fairly level-headed person, which is what's making this all the more puzzling. He obviously had leftward sensibilities, didn't he? Because he's a teacher. And I've noticed how teachers in this country tend to be particularly prone to going left. I asked Grok, is there any theory about why teachers in the UK tend towards the left politically? And I got this. Yes, UK teachers do tend to lean left politically, and there are several well-discussed theories about that. A pattern shows up consistently in surveys. It says here that the voting intentions of teachers here in this country, 58% Labour, 20% Liberal Democrats and 9% Green. The Conservatives came up at number 4 at 5%. And then it says there's not one single named grand theory, but researchers have a list. The first is the personality trait. People who choose teaching as a career often score high on empathy, openness to experience, and agreeableness. Okay, and then the educational pipeline and university socialisation, what they're saying here is that people who go to university tend to get taught by left-wing professors who sort of push them or funnel them into these ideas. Of course, then you have to wonder where the left-wing professors came from. And then there are other things like occupational and structural factors. For instance, as teachers, they will see a lot of the least privileged people in society, which might, push their opinions in a certain direction. Daily exposure to social issues, it says here. Teachers regularly see child poverty, inequality, special needs, and family struggles. Then teaching unions, it says, have historically aligned with the left, again begging the question, why? How did that start? And then there's the echo chamber aspect of it. That is, if there are a lot of left-wing teachers, then even the ones who didn't start out left-wing would have got there through constant repetition from their colleagues. Now, the thing about people on the left that I've noticed more than anything else is that they are so sure about their political opinions. They are so left. They are absolutely right, which is a bit of a contradiction in terms, but yeah, they're convinced they're absolutely right because they're left. And I suspect that's because being left is a moral position. You've decided that equality, equity, all that sort of thing, they are moral ideas, which they are. The big stumbling block is human nature and the application of these ideas. I'm not going to go into that, but people on the left have a moral position that everything in the garden should be lovely and everybody should be nice to each other and there shouldn't be poverty and misery and yeah, it's fine. Yeah, it's fine. But the thing about people on the right is that they are not so sure of themselves, because what they have is I'd say we have, because I didn't start off on the right, but somehow the Overton window has left me there. People on the right have a practical idea of how society should be run rather than a moral one. What works? Is it moral? Well, maybe not, but it works. That sort of thing. So there's less secure ground for feeling that they're absolutely right. And it's a lot weaker position from the point of view of justifying methods. So the end result of this is that people on the left can justify violence in their own minds in pursuit of their leftward goal. It's more excusable. So they will excuse violence from the left where they'd be horrified if it happened on the right. Because, as I say, it's all in for the moral good. Now, all right, back to Cole Allen. He's obviously slightly leftward, obviously not a very enthusiastic Kamala Harris supporter, but probably leftward at any rate. And you wonder what he thought he was going to accomplish by this action. He started shooting at some distance from the president. There were several layers of security between him and, if the president had been his target, I'm going to get that because I don't think it actually was. If Trump had been his target, then he started shooting far too early. There's no way he could have got near enough to Trump to get him. And Trump called him a lone wolf whack job, which is very typical of Trump. Slightly oversimplifying things, I think. I think what Cole Allen wanted to do was to cause chaos. You consider the venue. It was a big press junket in a secure part of a posh hotel, and everybody was all dressed up and they were listening to the president, who was schmoozing them and telling them they were marvellous. Who are these people? Well, present at the dinner was the government, that is, the people who could force you to do things in the name of organising society. And the other people there are the people who form the public opinion that encourages or pushes the president to make the laws that tell you how to make the perfect society. So lumped together, the people at the dinner were all to do with a group of people who are pushing the country in one direction or another, who as a group can be seen as having enormous power. Even those journalists who might have not been that friendly to Trump, might have criticised him. Nevertheless, they are part of the power structure. So my theory about Cole Allen is that what he wanted to do was to shake them up, to shake up their worldview of self-assurance, that they wanted, that they had this governmental power. He wanted to make them unsafe, and with the idea that this sort of thing, if they ever go to another press dinner again, there's always the ghost of Cole Allen there with his gun somewhere in the foyer. That would shake them up. I think that's probably what he had in mind. And he might have wished them to reconsider their wish to associate with Trump. I think he would expect a lot of these journalists to pass on the next press dinner because it's sort of dangerous. Well, in the world of self-assurance, he probably has shaken them up, made them feel just a little bit less secure. As for discouraging them from participating in any more press dinners, I do seriously doubt that will be in any way successful. No journalist would pass up the opportunity to hobnob with the great and the good. That's what their whole life is about. What's going to happen? Well, there will be a permanent effect. For a start, the next press government gathering, there'll be a lot more barriers, a lot more security, a lot more distance. In other words, he is separating the people from the president and possibly accomplishing precisely the opposite of what he thought he was going to achieve. Yeah, but who knows? Anyway, the point is, when you're looking at somebody's motives, I think Jordan Peterson said this as well, but I mean, it's a well-known psychological mechanism. When you're looking at why people are doing something, look at the effect that they've achieved. And the effect he achieved was chaos. And I think that's probably what he was thinking of. I'm really sorry that he does think in those terms, because in many other ways he's a very, very intelligent person, a good teacher, and without this idea in his mind, a great asset to any country he was in, and in this case the USA. I'm really sorry, it's a terrible waste. But again, I don't think he was after the president. I think, in fact, he was after the press. Okay, till next time. You can help my channel by subscribing and clicking the notification bell. That's quite important. And by sharing if you're so inclined. Links to my other channels and to donation methods are in the description. But the best way you can help is simply by clicking like and notify. Thank you.